Have you ever been sitting around your gaming table? We could really use some atmospheric music and some sound effects right now. Well, have I got a solution for you? Tabletone. Tabletone is a mobile tabletop audio app that makes it easy to create high quality immersive soundscapes for your gaming sessions. You can blend music, ambient sounds, and sound effects in real time to match any scenario, from a tranquil tavern scene to epic boss battles, all at the touch of a button. This app uses an adaptive audio engine and an ever-growing sound library that is 100% human-made audio. That means no generative AI. I've used this app in my gaming sessions and it is great. We can be walking through spooky woods, hearing some eerie sounds, and then when combat starts, with a click of a button, the tension grows with the heart-beating soundtrack and sound effects to go with it. And the best thing is, Tabletone is free to download on the iOS and Android so that you can try it for yourself. It comes with full functionality and a starter content pack so you can begin right away. But if you want to add more sounds and content, then you can use code TONE20 to get 20% off your order in the store app. So take your gaming sessions to the next level with Tabletone.
We find Vecna, we end this once and for all, together.
On December 25th.
We have a plan. It's a bit insane. Everyone in?
He knows where we are.
Watch out!
Get ready for one last adventure.
We stay true to ourselves. Stay true to our friends, no matter the cost.
Found you. Stranger Things, Season 5, Volume 2 begins December 25th. Only on Netflix.
Hey y'all, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Just kidding, it's rolling dice and taking names. And in this episode, the guys review Ayar, Bretwalda, Temple Code, and Baseball Card GM. Plus a taste buds for Holiday Hootie Wuddy. Oh, Holiday Creamy Vanilla. And the guys are excited to revisit Tyria with the release of Guild Wars Reforged. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Hello and welcome to episode number 366. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I'm Tony.
I'm Marty. I hate to tell you this, Tony. Andy Williams died a long time ago.
Oh, I know, but let's face facts. It is the most wonderful time. It's the time when fall is upon us and leaves fall from the tree. And I only do this because I know what he's been doing all day long. How'd that go for you? How'd those leaves go for you, big guy?
Day? We're talking weeks. Yeah, so got a bunch of trees in my yard, and here in North Carolina, leaves tend to hang around on trees for quite a while. So we're recording this right before Thanksgiving, and I've still got trees holding on to leaves. Wednesday, I was out there, cleaned all the leaves out of the yard. Today, they were full of leaves again, so I had to go out there again. I probably have at least 3 more weeks left of dealing with leaves. I know. My gosh, I hate leaves. I cannot wait for that last day when it's like, put the lawnmower away, put the leaf blower away, I'm done.
Yeah. I have 2 trees that hang on to their leaves constantly. They're all the same type of tree. They're all some type, they're a non-acorn producing oak. I know there is such a thing. And these trees, 2 of them for some odd reason, like to hold on to their leaves, and they're a different color than the other oaks in the yard. And so we've spent 2 days cleaning up ours, and we have, trees are probably close to 20 feet tall, and there's like 8 of them that line the road. And that's just a lot of fun. And then Donna, she was using the gas blower, and I came home from gang night, and she's out there and she's got the electric one, and, she's having to swap out the batteries periodically. I go, where's the gas one? She goes, well, it's broke. Oh, crap. Somehow, due to the dry rot, I guess, the, what's it called? The little bubble that you push to prime the engine.
Yep. Yeah.
It broke apart. And so when she pushed it, gas went everywhere. She's like, I ain't using that.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
So I got to take that up and get the McCree mechanic to get a little working copy going on that if he can find the part, because the leaf blower is maybe 20 years old. It's in good shape. It's a steel. Steel makes it great tools.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So hopefully they still have the part and just can replace. Yeah, I think it's actually called a primer something. Primer
Bulb. Probably primer bulb.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I know exactly of that which you speak of. Yeah. So I've got an air leaf blower, but typically what I do is I mulch most of my leaves. So I get out the lawnmower and go through. It would take me forever to try to blow all these leaves off. A couple weeks ago, I did pay a crew to come out here, and they did an amazing job. But when you got 5 or 6 people with back gas powered blowers, they can knock it out pretty quick. And so I've got them queued and ready to go for whenever I think the last time is going to be. Because they'll come out and do all and get rid, go through the shrubbery, get rid of all the leaves. They'll go on the roof, get rid of all the leaves there, and just have it done one last time. But I'll take care of it myself in between those times because the job that they did, now I'm able to kind of take care of it myself as we go. The problem is it takes every few days now, and it's really getting annoying.
Oh yeah, it's a pain, and we got rain coming in, so the leaves get wet, and then and it also kills all our baby grass. So it is the most wonderful time of the year.
The most wonderful time of there. You know what's not wonderful either is going to the doctor and getting blindsided by a charge that you think is absolutely ridiculous. So let me tell you my little story here. It's time for the annual trip to the dermatologist where you just get your skin checked. And I will say this before everybody, regardless of your age, find a good dermatologist, go once a year. It takes 10 minutes. They look over everything from head to toe to make sure there's not an issue that needs to be dealt with. It's one of those things that you can get early, address, and move on with your life. So just a little prescriptive care there, not prescriptive, preventative care there. All right. So while I'm there, got a great doctor. He did everything. Said everything looks great. He said, you have just one little small skin tag on your face. You just want me to zap that real quick? I went, yeah, sure. He said, all right, hold on a second. So he gets, I don't know if it's liquid nitrogen, whatever it is. He gets the canister. He says, hold on for a second. All right, that's it. All right, we'll see you next year. I said, perfect. And as I walked out the door, I went, what the heck is that going to cost me that took literally under 5 seconds and basically there was no test or anything like that. It's just, that was the extent of it. There was no cost of materials to be used because it couldn't have been that expensive, that little squirt. I get the bill today, my friend. He charged the insurance company $193 for that procedure.
Hey, his time's money.
No.
And it's a jet ski.
I am sorry. 5 seconds of your time. The procedure of looking and doing the skin check was cheaper than that. And so it gets to the insurance company, and of course they say, hey, look, we've already set the price with you. We're only going to do $150, and we're only going to pay $50 of it. So you charge the patient $100. I'm like, come on. That just irritates me because what that does is that keeps people from wanting to go to do these little things that could save lives and keep things very inexpensive if you take care of it earlier because of the cost it takes just to do that little stuff. So annoying.
It'd be interesting if you go back and say, I tell you what, don't file with my insurance. How much will this cost me?
You know what? Well, here's the thing that they need. Here's the thing. The preventative care is 100% covered because that's kind of a well care visit. So I don't know whether they would do, well, we'll send this thing to the insurance company and we won't send this thing. Maybe they would work with me. I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
They would rather, and with dealing with mine, depending on, and I've had a fun thing where they took a big chunk out of my ear and that of course had to go to the insurance. But yeah, they'll be willing to, they want their money and they don't want to deal with insurance companies. They don't want to deal with the negotiated rates. They don't want to, unless it's a simple or easy one to deal with. I know that in my plan that the various doctors have decided they are tired and they are leaving United Healthcare. They said, we're done. We're out of here. If it weren't for a change in job status, I would be looking for more new doctors who do not have, they have the history in the computer, and I'm sure they read it. But once again, it's somebody that knows you, and I'm not going to give up my primary care physician. So I've already checked with him. He takes the new insurance, but I was just like, man, this is, it's one of those things. So yeah, I always ask, hey, will you let me pay? I tell you what, if I bring you 3 chickens, will you take care of that for me?
3 chickens.
Back in the good days, that's how you bartered.
Oh, yeah. Bartering. There you go. It's like, yeah. Hey, true capitalism, right? It's like, I'll exchange these goods for your goods sort of deal.
Hey, buddy, you know what? I tell you what, I can hook you up. I got, back in the day, shoot, if I had chickens in a coop and I had eggs going, shoot, I could have made a killing with my doctors. They would have taken those. Here's 4 dozen eggs. Let's do the whole workup right now.
Yeah.
That's about $500 right there, buddy. Those are good organic eggs.
There's a tip. I need to remember that. I will keep that in mind the next time I go. So we mentioned we had a little game day at our place, and we got together for the purpose of doing a Star Wars Unlimited draft. So I mentioned at BBQ, we had a bunch of people together. We did a sealed event. So Tony, I know you've done a draft before, but the 2 other guys that were there never had done a draft. So it was 4 of us. And I had some unopened packs of cards from the latest set. We each opened 3 packs, did a draft, and played a round robin. So we got to play everybody once. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed just sitting with you guys, opening packs and putting decks together and stuff. So I had a blast doing that. So hopefully we can all get together and do that again.
Oh, don't bury the lead. Don't bury the lead. You know what the best part of that draft was.
It's funny. Until I was talking about it, I totally forgot that.
Good.
No, I did. I totally forgot. So Tony, one of the packs that he opened actually had a showcase card. A showcase card from this set is the chase card, the card that everybody wants. It's a holographic, no border leader card, very special card, maybe 1 per case, a couple per case, something like that. And Tony pulled one for me, and so that is my first ever showcase card in playing Star Wars Unlimited, and I've opened a ton of packs.
Yes, you have. And hey, I was just surprised when I first did it and flipped it to you and said, you're welcome. I didn't realize it was a showcase, but I knew it was special because of what it was, but I didn't realize it was the showcase.
Yeah. The only showcases that exist are for leaders.
Okay. That was the first one I've ever seen, and that gave me the ability to draft it. But due to the foil and lack of readers that I had did not bring, I said, I can't read this thing. Here, let's pass that one on in the draft.
Those are nice cards, though. I mean, they look really sharp.
Yeah, they do. And the only thing I'm going to say about that draft is it sucked for me. It was, God, that was a terrible. You pulling that one card out. Hey, I'm going to add 20 experience to my fighter. You're dead.
Oh, it's so funny. When I saw that card, I went, hold on for a second. For a cost of 1, I can spend as many resources that I want and put that number of experience tokens, which basically boosts the strength and health by 1, on a card. I went, yeah. So it makes sense why that's a rare. And it makes sense why I'll make sure I have 3 of those, because I don't know how you don't have that in many decks using that aspect. Dirt cheap, and you can immediately boost somebody up.
So you late game 5, you got a big boy sitting, not even a big boy, like the one card, the hounds that I had that they come out ready if there's nobody in the ground, and I'm like, if I were to be able to play that on that card, and now they're like a 10-5,
it'd be a 10-10.
Oh, that's right, it's a 10-10.
I think he was a 5-5 card. So yeah,
he was a 5-5. That's right.
Yep.
I was like, man, are you sure those experiences don't go away at the end of the turn? Nope. They stay here forever. Well, okay, good game. Let's go on.
So that was a lot of fun. I'm glad to have some other people that I know to sit and play with, because like I said in the past, typically where I go and play, these people are hardcore. They know how to play the game, and it's like I never do that well when I'm with them. So
you're right. You were 3-0, so that should bolster your confidence. Now, we did get to watch the Fantasy Flight in-game report. It was being done at PAX U, so we got to, took a pause in our game to watch that video. And probably the thing that excited me the most was the Twin Sun packs. The rest of it kind of flew over me. as in, hyperspace. It went whew. But I said, whoa, Twin Suns decks. Wait, what? What was that? Because I really enjoy that format.
Pre-constructed Twin Sun decks, which honestly is exactly what they have in Magic. So in Magic, they're commander decks. And that's exactly what Star Wars Unlimited is going to do. So I think that's brilliant, which is a easy way to get into the game. Just buy these pre-con decks and we sit and play a 4-player game. So I am looking forward to that too. I'm curious to see how many they're going to do. Will it be, 2, 3? It'd be cool if they did 4. Honestly, 4 would be the sweet spot.
I mean, so yeah, I'm excited for that. I hope they do release 4, and I don't know who the leaders were. I didn't pay that much attention to, but I'm very excited because for us, we'd buy one for each of us, play on game night, and we'd be, that'd be like the appetizer for game night, I think, or the palate cleanse at the end. Because sometimes we need a palate cleanse at the end of some of the game nights. Just not that the game's bad, just the play in itself is bad. Yeah. Speaking of bad play, we appeared on Tim Ryle's Codenames.
Codenames Live.
Codenames Live. Yeah,
Official
I wish
name,
I hadn't been there. Yeah, I wish I hadn't been there. Yeah, oh God, that was pathetic. We were so out of sync.
We were. And, it's weird because I play Codenames all the time on the app. Mm-hmm. I play with Matt Riddle, Justin Jacobson, and Dan Patrice. Mm-hmm. We have a game going. We've had a game going. However long this app's been going, a year and a half, every day. So I thought, okay, I'm ready to start seeing some clues and get some clues. But yeah, I don't know. We were just really out of sync. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, plumber, and I missed tap, and because that didn't even occur to me. Then I did my typical, oh, look, I forgot to read the rest of the board and gave a clue that led you straight to their clues. I'm like, oh, geez, come on. So out of practice. That's still a fun game. And with the holidays approaching, the most wonderful time of the year, that will be on many, many tables. And if it is not on your table, maybe you need to dig it out of the back of your shelves and refresh yourself because everybody loves that game. And
they've really they've refreshed the game, right? So there's a new version of the game out. There's also like the big box version that's kind of reavailable. So they've redone the game and re-released it with a fresh skin and everything. So yeah, go check that out. And this can be found in all the big box stores at this point. Hey, speaking of holiday, for Taste Buds, we have a new holiday. I say that in quote. I'm not sure exactly why this is a holiday flavor, but a holiday flavored Coke.
Taste Buds. Taste Buds. Taste Buds. Two incredible stuff. Taste Buds, 2 incredible stuff. Taste Buds, they're just a bunch of.
All right, Tony, so tease this. Holiday creamy vanilla. I don't know that I associate creamy vanilla with the holidays.
I don't either. It's a release during the holidays. That's what they did. So without even opening any of this is going to taste like any of their other previous flavors, Dream, whatever those names were. Did Coke suddenly buy a bunch of vanilla beans and tequila? I mean, they even had orange. I was hoping you would pick up orange vanilla. I'm thinking popsicle there, but it says that's new too. And I'm like, didn't y'all already release that?
Yeah. And how is this different from, they've already done vanilla Coke. How is this going to be different than vanilla Coke?
It's creamy. It's right there on the can.
So creamy vanilla makes me think of cream soda. So I assume this is going to be cream soda plus Coke.
That's it. So I'm ready to pop it open and then taste it and then get rid of it. You ready?
Yep. No, it's zero sugar. Enjoy.
No, I can't taste. Oh, I do not like vanilla.
Oh, it's because you don't like vanilla. I do. All right, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Ugh.
Hey, guess what? It tastes like cream soda plus Coke.
Oh my God. Yep.
That's exactly it.
Ugh. All right, let me go get the durian. Holy cow.
So you don't like cream soda, right?
I don't like vanilla.
So then you definitely don't like cream. You don't like vanilla ice cream?
Oh, I love vanilla ice cream. I do not like vanilla tasting soda. There's just something about it. I've never, all those Cokes. This tastes exactly like all those Cokes that they released previously to me. There's nothing different. I think they just had a big vat that they've been circulating to keep the expiration from it from best used by, and they just keep repackaging it. That's what Coke's doing here.
Okay.
And they could care less because they just making money.
So yeah, I do like vanilla flavored stuff. Like we have Vanessa and I always do like decaf coffee at night, and we have a standard French vanilla creamer that we just keep. So I'm a huge vanilla person. So I like this, but it's not something I haven't tasted before. It tastes like their vanilla Coke. So I mean, I could go to those mix machines they have at some of the restaurants and mix in Coke with the vanilla flavor, and it's this. So, y'all, holiday creamy vanilla, if it tastes like exactly like you would imagine, if you like that sort of thing, there is a zero sugar version of that. So go check it out, I guess. Maybe.
Well, I know Donna's been pounding through her Diet Coke lines. I mean, you can't find those things sold out so quick at our local grocery store, and yet they won't produce it. I'm like, what am I missing here? Maybe I know I'm not marketing. I don't understand things, and I know, but I went back the next day and they were sold out. I'm like, what is going on here? I guarantee you, this stuff will sit on the shelves till next holiday.
Hey everybody, I hope you got some really good stuff from Miniature Market's Black Friday promotions. But they aren't done, because we got something exciting to share with you. From December 8th through December 12th, they will have their holiday deals going where you're able to bundle up and save. So if you're not part of their mailing list, go join their mailing list, or make sure to go look at their website from December 8th to December 12th to see what the holiday deals are, because you can still get stuff sent to you or some friends for Christmas. And we've got a special deal for you, our precious listeners. From December 2nd through December 16th, if you use promo code RDTN2025, RDTN 2025, you'll receive free shipping and $10 off your purchase of $75 or more. Tony, I will be using card RDTN 2025 because I got some stuff on my wish list. It's like, I'm going to get $10 off that game right there.
There you go. Hey, use it if you got it. Go for it, man. I like that. I appreciate Miniature Market reaching out, setting that up for us. So I hope every one of our listeners takes advantage of that. Mark your calendars. Know the dates when this is active, so that you be sure to take advantage of it.
And what are those dates again, Tony?
From December 2nd through December 16th, listeners can use the promo code RDTN. Radio Delta Tango. What's night? What's the N?
I don't remember.
N 2025 to get that free shipping and $10 off a purchase of $75 or more.
All right, we got a brand new Euro game from Osprey Games called Ayar, Children of the Sun. This is from designers Fabio Lapino, who I really like, and Mandela Fernandez Grandin. Now, Fabio has designed games I like Kalamala, Ragusa, etc. However, this is also the third in a series. I guess this is his trilogy with Osprey Games that includes Merv and Sankori, which we have reviewed before in previous episodes from years ago. Tony, I actually went and re-listened to our reviews of Merv and Sankori to familiarize myself with it. And just let me go ahead and now apologize to the listeners for one of the most confusing segments we have ever done. We're talking about this game thinking we're explaining this really well. I played this game and I had no clue what I was talking about. So I've actually got up the board and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I apologize, y'all. There's no way you could have followed what we were trying to explain to you, especially for Sankori. So, Tony, when we talk about this game here, I will say, after listening to those other two, I think this is an easier game to play and understand. So we'll talk about it. talk about our thoughts, and then personally, I'm going to rank them now that I've gone back and refreshed my memory of those other games, and I'll give my ranking of the trilogy and what order I like them.
Okay. And for me, I did not go back and listen, I'll have to go back and look at some of the images, but yeah. How long ago were these again? Huh?
So, I think Sankori was early 2024. Merv was the first one. And let me just pull that up real quick. Merv, 2020. So 5 years ago. The heart of Silk Road. So this takes place down in, I guess it would have been the Incan Empire. It's supposed to be like what the birth of the Incan Empire was, that consisted of a moon god and a sun god. And there were these 4 sons and 4 daughters, the Ayar, who were trying to bring about the clans of the area. So that's kind of the theme that it's going for. But Tony, we were looking at this. You pulled it up on BGG and looked at the weight. The weight of this game is 3.0. And both you and I agree, we think that's too high. Because
that's too high.
This game is really 4 actions, and the 4 actions are pretty simple to follow. The only thing I can figure is maybe the weight is higher because even though the actions are pretty straightforward, there has to be a lot of thought and when to do these actions and when to activate some of your own scoring, maybe? I don't know.
People weight things as they want to, but you and I would probably weight it a little bit lighter. I mean, not from the actions. Also, from the strategy standpoint, there wasn't a whole lot of interaction. So I'm not seeing a lot of strategy between people here. I'm just seeing strategy on your board as you make an attempt to claim your points, your various points that you're going to need to win the game. Because there was some strategy, but I never felt like you were impacting me. I always had a choice during my turn as to what I wanted to do.
Well, you can have strategy without player interaction.
Yeah, but for me for waiting, I'm going to base it on how much strategy has to go in based on the player interaction.
Oh, really?
I agree.
Okay.
You can always have strategy. Yeah.
Okay. I've never heard you say that before.
Yeah.
There's some unique things I like about this. I like the scoring. We've seen scoring before where there's like 2 different tracks, victory point tracks, and you're only going to score one of those 2. This has the same thing. Each of the actions that you take are going to create sun and moon points. And you're going to accumulate the sun and the moon points over the course of the game. After the 4th round, whichever is the lowest on your tracks, the moon points or the sun points, is your final score. Now, we've seen other games do that before. I do like that. That means you want them to go up as evenly as possible as you play the game. But we saw that the sun points kind of go up incrementally, small increments, where it seemed like the moon points were huge jumps. Like we saw big jumps of those towards the end of the game to catch up with where your existing sun points were. So to me, that's the kind of unique thing that's in this game.
Okay. And counterpoint, I saw huge jumps in sun points based on our various inti dials. I'm okay. I am lukewarm on these types of games where it's the lower of the 2 score markers that you're tracking. I mean, I'm fine with it as long as they are progressing and I am able to know what the other players are doing versus these huge jumps. So their boards are the same as my boards. Therefore, I should be able to see and know how they're calculating their scores. But these big rubber bands that occur at the end game of scoring, that always does not sit well with me. I'm fine with scoring the lowest, but don't suddenly have someone score 60 points at the end of the game because that just feels not good to me. I don't like that.
So you don't like big swingy scoring?
I've never, and it's consistent on this show. I've always talked about these. What do we call it? The slingshot mechanic.
Rubber banding, catching up and surpassing somebody sort of deal. Slingshot, is another good name.
Yeah, slingshot. I don't like those types of scoring events that occur.
Yeah.
Unless you are able to know that someone's getting ready to basically they're loaded and they're waiting to pull the trigger to slingshot past you. And that's just that's me. These games are never my faves.
Yeah. So the main board itself, we talked about these 4 sons, 4 daughters. The 4 sons are on these 4 tracks on the board. And every person's player board was pre-populated with a 4x4 grid with little houses in their color on the board. And each of those 4 IRs, what they're called on the board, are different color. And you have little pieces matching the same colors on the board, and you're going to put a color IR beside a row or beside a column that's going to move that color IR a certain number of spaces on the track. Then you get to take one of your houses, available houses in the row or column, and put it into one of the action spots on his track of any, and you could take any action spot that he's gone by. Doesn't matter where it is on the track. If he's 15 spots ahead and there's 7 or 8 open slots behind him, you pick one of the 4 actions that is going to be available to you that you want to do, and then you take that action. There's no combos in this game. There's no taking an action to trigger another action sort of deal.
No. And as long as you, like you said, place your house, and I appreciate you using the word house and not the game component of tambos, because when people look at things on BGG and they look at images, they're like, oh, these guys are talking about tambos. What the heck's a tambo? It's the houses.
It's the houses.
It's the houses. So I appreciate
the init, is that what you call it? The score is really inti, which is sun. So everybody has a dial, that little rotary dial that you're going to track the number of suns as you accumulate over the course of the game. So each of these 4 actions, y'all, they're unique actions. One is kind of set collection.
Hold on. Before you go do that, I won't talk. So in this game, the placing of the IR step markers was probably the thing I enjoyed the most in this game. Okay. And that's where all the strategy is, because after the first round, they do not get, and I know you'll probably get to this, they are not reset off the board. You now have to move them to an open spot, and it's the jockeying between your various IRs.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So here's what's confusing, y'all. There's IRs on the board, the main board, that are being moved. Each of you have a IR on your player board that you use to activate that one. So I see what you're saying. I just want to make sure people understand, because in 5 years when I go back and listen to this, I'm going to go, that didn't make any sense.
And let's reference the ones on your board as the step markers.
Okay.
How many steps the IR is going to make. And that to me was the largest strategy, because that was probably the part of this game that I enjoyed the most. All right. That to me felt the most challenging and best strategic part of this game.
Okay.
Now, let's move on to the various actions. You are getting ready. Continue, please, sir. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no. It's fine. One is very simple. Pottery. This is kind of a set collection. You got some Potter tiles over off the side. When you take the pottery action, you're going to, based on the strength, this is what I like too, Tony. The more houses you pull off a column or row will increase the strength of whatever action that you're getting ready to take. So when there's 4 houses on a row, and I'm going to keep calling them houses, y'all. I know that's not the technical term, but if you ever see a picture, you'll know exactly what we're talking about, like Tony said. You pull off one and place it. The strength of that action is 1. So when you look at the pottery area, there's potteries that's worth a strength of 1, some that are worth strength of 2, some with a strength of 3. And you're going to take those, and you're trying to get as many of the same as possible, because that's going to score you a lot of moon points. But as you place more pottery under your player board, it's going to start incrementing your sun points then. So again, every action you take is going to increase both of those potentially. And then, Tony, there's one, weaving, that's just about, honestly, tile placement on a board.
And those are based on the strength of the step marker that you've placed. When you take the weaving action, you may pull from various piles that contain a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4, with the 4 having both a sun marker on it and another icon that I'm going to, a Veracocha, which we ended up calling it varicose veins on game night, because we could never Veracocha. And these are very important. We'll talk about those later, because that was another thing that, didn't sit so well with me. But anyway, the weaving. And by placing these weaving tiles on your board, you are trying to line up the various sun tokens that allow you to then, as we were just saying, score sun when you need to score sun based on their matching up. And depending on how you fill up your weaving tile, how well you build your rug, you will get moon points at the end of the game based on the the column that has been filled the farthest. So if, for instance, there's 5 columns, if you filled up the 3rd column completely with all rugs or textiles, then you'll score those moon points. But that's weaving. And then we have time to go plant some corn, terrace farming. And that one's pretty darn straightforward.
That's pretty straightforward. Based on the strength of the action you're getting ready to take, you're going to pull off little yellow cubes to go over to a board off the main board. And as you remove those cubes from your board, you're going to uncover sun icons that will eventually increase your sun value. And when you clear out an entire row of the corn cubes, there is a moon value at the end of it. And when you get the moons, you're going to sum up all the moon values of that you've uncovered and get those. So that's pretty straightforward, Tony. And then there's something called reed collecting. We kept calling it sailing because, Tony, you're moving a boat along a river.
That's it. And based on the strength, we'll determine how far your boat can move based on the various costs that you encounter. As you go across various islands or steps, you may place out one of your huts that uncovers the sun, thus covering out a charge for someone else. So if you're following behind somebody, then they're making it cheaper for you, but they may capture a Veracocha before you, and you may not be able to get any. And you can retrace your steps, but you may only continue from where you were starting. So if you decide, and I don't know how or why you would do that because it is very costly to do these things, but maybe you lost out on getting a Veracocha token later, collecting the suns, and then depending on where you are as you are sailing along determines how many moon points you'll get during the night phase.
And that's really all 4 actions there is. Now, this entire time we've talked about getting sun, increasing sun values, increasing moons. This isn't moving our victory point tracks at all at this point. All this does is at a certain point in the game, there's going to be a sun triggering mechanism. And Tony, one of the main ways to do that during a round is when the game is set up, you're going to randomly place out these tiles along the paths and on the main board. And when the IR passes by that tile, it will trigger a sun scoring for that particular action.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, what's the most recent one we talked about? The reed collecting. You're going to look at every sun that you've uncovered by removing houses and increase your little dial by that amount. If it was at 5, I had 3 more suns. Okay, now I'm at 8. And everybody do that. Everybody gets to do that. Everybody good? Oh, by the way, if you at least scored 1, you also get a llama, which is basically used to help increment whichever token is furthest back at the end of the game. Llamas are really valuable too, especially at the end of the game. And then you move on from there. So randomly placed on the board, you're going to have some of these chances to increase the sun on your sundial by a certain amount based on how well of that action that you've taken.
Mm-hmm. Now, each of these scoring tiles touches 2 tracks of the IR. So as you pass, as one passes, that tile gets flipped over, and therefore it will have a higher count needed for sun to be able to get a llama. But you will be able to score it again unless something else happens, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So all this is going on. These IRs are passing along, allowing you to score these suns. Another part of the strategy of the game. And once again, that's to come later. Also, after you place that IR, you now need to do an end of turn check because some special things can occur, right, Marty? Some things can happen on your player board that require some decisions on your part. One thing is that if you uncover adjacent 4x4 square, in the lower
2
right,
by 2 square.
Two by twos. Yeah, 2x2. I'm counting up 4 of them, and it's either in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, or fourth quadrant. Then you may place a temple out on the temple board that will allow you to score your moons for how many you may have in either reed collecting or pottery when that IR meets its mate. Now, how does an IR meet its mate? That's coming. Just wait for us. Okay? Just wait. Hold on. We'll get there. Because there's some other things. There's personal bonuses as well, Marty, that'll also get you some sun.
Yes, that's right. If you happen to clear a row or clear a column, at the end of that row or column, there's several things that you get. One of them is to score a sun for that particular action. So again, you're going to look at the action. Let's say it's weaving. All right, how many rugs have I placed? How many complete icons of sun have I completed? 3? Awesome. I'll add 3 to my dial. It was 8. Remember, it was 8 a little second ago? All right, now it's 11. All right, cool. Excellent. So we're going to continue placing our little colored personal IR pieces. By the way, there's one for every color, plus there's a wild. So that allows you to move any color that you want. Once everybody's done that, this is the part that will trigger a moon scoring, because you're going to see on the main board which IR has moved the least. Okay? So which one is the furthest back on their particular track? That one is going to be retired, taken off the board, go over to the temple track. And for anybody that placed their personal temples there on that track, they're going to collect moon points for that action. So, Tony, you had mentioned placing the reed collecting. Oh, I've placed my temple for the reed collecting for this purple IR, which just retired. Let me look at the moon board. Okay, it looks like I get 10 moon points. Excellent. Let me increase my little moon victory point marker on the board. Job done. Now, there can be 4 temples placed on that row. There could be more because on the last section, you could stack as many as you want. Everybody will score for any temple that's been placed. And Tony, what's interesting is that's it. That IR is out of the game. You take your personal purple IR and trigger one of the moon scorings of your choice of one of the 4 actions on your own personal board.
That's it.
It's because that purple is not going to be used anymore the rest of the game.
So, rewinding, back to strategy. Let's say the purple IR is moving along the path there, and I see that that Rami token, the one we talked about, the scoring.
We didn't mention the name of it. Yes, that's the random token that's put out that will trigger sun bonuses for people if IR passes it. Yeah.
Right. So the first time it was passed by let's say the blue one, and then the other one's coming along, but it was, say, pottery. Okay, we all got to score. Oh, wait. In the past few, right before the end of the round, Marty's really concentrating on pottery over there. I don't want him to score pottery again. So maybe I need to make sure that one stays in the back. So it's removed and that tile doesn't get scored again to help him out. Yeah. In the games we played, we were all holding on to our wild token, as we called them, for our step marker, the one that could go move any of them, so that we could influence that. Mm-hmm. And that was something that, was very strategic in the game. Okay, how do I want to impact everybody? Ooh, I need to make sure that the step marker that allows it to go 2 spots, I need to make sure I don't block that so that I can't go there. Also, I need to make sure that step marker, when I uncover or remove a house, doesn't open up a column or row where I don't get to use the 4 strength of that row. That's why I felt that portion of the game was probably the most strategic part of the playing of IR. It's that whole little mini game right over there. Not the collecting of the stuff, just how I use that. That's where I got the most joy. Did I play that well?
So then the step marker that you retire, for my example, I was using purple. You retire this blue step marker. Then that dial that you've been adding your sun value to, you pick it up, whatever the current value is. Mine was 11. I take my sun marker and add 11 points to wherever it is at that point. Rinse and repeat, go to the next round. And you may be thinking, wait a minute, Marty. you removed one of your step markers. That means that's one less action you're going to get next turn. That is correct, y'all. One thing that's interesting about this game is the momentum speeds up every single round because there's one less action everybody's going to take, because every round, one IR will retire.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And the other thing we didn't mention before we give I think we should be starting our final thoughts, is the Viracocha. You can place these on your game board, and if you meet the certain requirements, it activates potentially for, let's say, the various actions, read, pottery, textile. It will increase the strength by 1 if you place 2 there. So these Viracocha are very key. It will give you the ability to increase your strengths as you take various actions, or maybe if you have placed 1, a llama. But there was one that we all took, which allowed us to double count our, for every row column for our inti dial that are clear, we get to add 6 additional points to our inti dial. What do I mean? So if I scored all the weaving in a column, I unlocked all of that. And then I also did the textile. When I activate that one Viracocha on my player board, then I would get 12 points added to my inti dial. So the more that I had more complete, the more points I get on my sundial. So those are the things that you have to deal with the Viracocha, which we've mentioned. Why do you collect these things? It's to increase your strength and do some special scoring, specifically when it comes to inti scoring as well.
So what's going to happen, y'all, on the very last round, there's going to be only one IR that's moving. And everybody's player board will have the step marker of the same color IR plus the wild. So everybody gets to take 2 actions, but the only actions that are available to you on that is on that IR's track. That means that if a lot of people have been placing their houses on that track, the action you want may not be there, Tony. And we ran into that several times. It's like, I really need to take a pottery. There's not a pottery action available except maybe 3 steps ahead, and there's no way I can move that IR 3 steps. The most you can move it is 2. There's a row and a column that allows you to move it 2. Typically, it's just going to be 1. And so then after the 4th round, you do all the scoring that we talked about. You're going to retire that one, score the temples. Basically, all the llamas that you've collected, you want to try to match your scores. I'm going to make this real nice, clean, and simple. Let's say, for example, the sun is 10 points ahead of where my moon is right now. If I happen to have 4 llama tokens, with 4, I can increase one of my tokens by 10. So I would match the moon to the sun, and then that would be my score because it would be the lowest of the 2, but they happen to be the same. And then whoever has the most points wins. So the end scoring is really straightforward. You just got to decide how you want to delegate your llamas to which token, and then just come up with a score.
That's it. And that's where the big swingy comes. Wow. He had all those inti points over there. I didn't realize it. Man. Okay. Fine. All right. There's the game, y'all. Got a ranking of 8 over on BGG. The complexity's around 3. You already heard me and Marty talk about it being up there. So what are some of the things, we've talked about some of the things we liked and disliked. Anything else for you, man?
So here's the thing is, our entire game group has not talked about a singular game this much in an extremely long time. So we played the game once and we thought, okay, I think I know how this game works now. So the next time we play, I've got an idea what I'm going to do. Because it looks like, the pottery and the weaving is so random because you just don't know what pottery tiles and what weaving markers are going to appear. And you may be looking for something and it's not there. So I'm going to focus on the other 2. I got a strategy here. I got an idea. We played a second game and y'all, it totally flip-flopped. So on the first game, Bert and I came in first and second, and then it was Mark and Tony. The next game, Bert and I thought, hey, we got this figured out. We know what we're doing. He and I came in third and last, and Tony and Mark ended up winning the game. And it was like, then we talked even more. It's like, what did we screw up on? So, Tony, yeah, I think there's so many thoughts that we've had about this, both positive and negative, but I think all of us kind of felt like it's fine.
Yeah. Like I said, I really like the personal player board. I really like that strategy around that. Okay. We talked about it, but I did say in one of our texts, this is exactly how I am going to play the game from now on. This is how I'm going to concentrate.
I think we all decided how we're going to play the game from now on.
Yes, that's true.
Bert and I sacrificed not having any points on our sundial for the first round scoring where we increment our sun, and it destroyed us. So we all decided, it's like, there's no way you can avoid those early, what'd you call them, Rama tiles?
Rami
tiles.
R-A-H-M-I.
The ones that during the round, if an IR passes it, will allow you to increase your sundial or
NT.
You need to do that first round. You need to look at what are the two scoring tiles that might happen that round and take those actions and uncover some suns, because you will get behind if you don't. And Tony, I don't think, we talked about, there's multiple ways to win the game. I don't know how you can avoid doing that at all.
Yeah.
Because y'all avoided it first game, lost. We avoided it second game, lost. I think you got to do it.
You got to. Yeah, you got to. The weaving, I think weaving may be a viable option. I'm not one of those people who would do it, but I think if you can get that power of 4 on weaving sooner than later, if you can ever use a power 4 or at least do 3, every time I'm going to take weaving, I'm going to have 3 plus the Veracocha to boost it up so I can get that very special token. That may be a viable option, but all in all, no. I would not do that. It's too hard for me.
The weaving?
It's complicated.
So that's a good way. What do we think about this game? It's complicated. Again, there are things I like. I like the dual scoring tracks. I do like the fact that many games get longer each round because more actions are added. Here, less actions are added. So the momentum of the game I like. It doesn't drag towards the end because each round goes quicker. But I just feel like that literally you got to look at the game at the very beginning of the game. How did those initial tiles come out? And I must score around that. But y'all, here's the thing. If everybody does that in a 4-player game, there's not enough of those action types that are going to be available for you to be able for all 4 people to take.
You're right. We ran out of pottery when we were all concentrating there. So you got, mixed feelings about this. There's there's a ton of games out there. There's some that, I would put on the table before this one. I don't necessarily dislike the game, but it has enough portions, mechanics that aren't my favorite, especially those big swingy points at the end.
I think this game's easier to learn than Merv and Senkori. However, if I was to rank these, they would go in the order they released. I liked Merv the best, then Senkori, then this one.
Okay.
I really liked Merv because Merv was one of those really cool things he did with Kalamala where somebody takes an action on your turn, you get a benefit from it. I've always liked it when somebody does something and I might get a benefit from it. So that was my thing to Merv. Senkori was cool because each section of the board is like its own little mini game. Each one was needed. Each one was required. Hey, I've got to take this action to get gold, and I got to take this action over here to get the book, so I can take this action over here to get these students and educate them and stuff. So all that kind of worked well together. So that's why I think I like them in that order. I think IR is good, but I will personally say try before you buy.
I know I enjoyed Merv the best. And then believe it or not, looking at Senkori, I'm going to put that below IR.
You did not. So I went back and listened to the review. You did not like Senkori.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Merv, IR, Senkori. I remember looking at this board. I remember I did not like this game.
You did not care for that one at all. So there you go, y'all. It's a great trilogy. Ian O'Toole has done an amazing art and all this stuff. The production is really good from Osprey. So Merv, Senkori, IR. Pick one of those, whichever one you feel like. Personally, Tony and I say Merv. And then for the other two, hey, try before you buy.
5-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's been some time since Gen Con, but let me tell you, we were able to pick up a game called Temple Code, designed by Johan Levitt from Lucky Duck Games. And the reason why you may know this designer is he did Turing Machine just a few years ago. And this is one of those, deduction type games where you're playing with your friends and you've got to solve a code to be able to remove the golden idol. I'm thinking Indiana Jones here, y'all. And in order to do this, you're going to be drafting cards between the players, matching them up, doing some deduction. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. It's Mastermind to me, and I suck at Mastermind. I cannot do these games, and it was embarrassing. We talk about games that tell stories. Marty can tell you all about just how pathetic I am at this game. So, Marty, you can talk all you want about this game because I have no idea. I loved it. It's amazing. It's amazing how you solve it and you do various things and how it all lines up, the math behind it and how this all works. It just blew me away. But I have no clue how to play this game because I couldn't play this game. I stink. I'm done.
Okay, yeah. So I love Mastermind. I love Mastermind as a kid. And this is one of those things that secretly at the beginning of the game, you've got a card sitting in front of you that everybody else can see but you. That is a combination of 3 different symbols or 3 different colors in a certain order. You're trying to deduce what color is where and in what order. Really straightforward. What you do on your turn, you're going to pick a card from one of the other players, and you're going to use that card to help give you a clue. Meanwhile, the player that you chose from takes the other card that wasn't picked, and that's their clue for that particular turn. And here's where the cool thing, the Turing machine of matching up symbols and stuff, that exists here too, because you're going to take the card that you got with the clue. It's like, all right, there's 3 symbols on this card. I want to see how are any of these symbols in the right area, right position on my card. And you take it and line it up with your card that's in your little standee. Again, you can't see the front of it. And it shows you, it's like, oh, okay, this one has one symbol in the right spot and another symbol that is there, but in the wrong spot, wrong location. You just don't know which symbol it is, but that's as you collect these cards, you got this little notepad, you start taking notes and start trying to deduce, oh, okay, I know the green's in the middle, the orange is on the right, and the blue is on the left. Let me make a guess and see if I'm right.
Yeah, right. Whatever. In all fairness, I got the colors. I got the symbols. I had no clue where they were.
It's so funny, y'all. On his first guess, he started going. He had all the colors right. And so I thought he was going in the wrong direction. And so we double verified. And I pointed to his end of the card and said, do you mean the symbol that's right here? He went, yes. Then we said, you're wrong. It's mirrored. It's the other way. And so what happens if you make a guess and you're wrong, you got to scrape all the cards that you just had and get a new card. So you got to start from the beginning. The goal is to be the first to solve 2 puzzles and you win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never
I love it. I love deduction games.
I agree with you.
I like this one more than Turing Machine. I think Turing Machine is confusing to explain to people with all the symbols. I think this one is much easier to grasp and understand if I was teaching somebody a game like this.
Okay, that's fair. I really enjoyed Turing Machine, but that one I could figure out. This one, though, I mean, I remember playing Mastermind with Rebecca. She would kill me, and she was 8. There's that block, I think. Great game, though. I like that drafting. I like that. Oh, I may want to take that card so that you don't get that information. Yep. I like that. I also think that not knowing is just as powerful as knowing. And we demonstrate that. Ooh, this has no right answers. Okay.
Then it's none of the symbols. I got lucky one of the times. I had no matching anything, so I knew, okay, these symbols aren't on my card at all. So I got to eliminate those. That actually made it a ton easier. And yes, there is hate drafting, y'all. Because like I said, I can look at Tony and go, man, if he gets that one card, he'll determine what this is really quick. So I better draft it just in case. It may not help me as much, but I don't want him to have it.
Actually, he could say, I'm going to help him out and let him have a card because I know he ain't going to get it anyway.
Y'all, I love this. It plays 1 to 4 players because you can just play solo if you want. Plays in 30 minutes. If you like Mastermind, if you like deduction games, and how cleverly this is with how the symbols line up and everything gives you all this information is so cool and well designed. That is Temple Code from Lucky Duck Games.
5-minute initiative is complete.
Do you have that hard to buy for person in your life around this holiday time? I know I'm one. And if you wanted to purchase something up for me, I'd head over to Shop Portal Games and take a look at some of their newest additions to their site. Age of Galaxy, $32. ShopPortalGames.com. 51st State, Ultimate Edition. It's only $72. 51st State, great game. Love that game. Basilica 2.0, $5. Woo, that's a steal right now. You can also, of course, get some books from Ignacy, board games that tell stories, 1 and 2 and 3. That's right, he's written 3 books on this. Or how about, let's go back to the games. A Brazil Imperial, only $35. Head over to shopportalgames.com. Take a look at all they have on sale. Fill out that Christmas list for all your board gamers.
I love me some Phallus games, Tony. We've played a lot. Yeah, I do. We've played a lot of those in the past, and we got a new one. Bretwalda. Let's just first say off the bat. Well, number one, designers, Leo Solove. The production, y'all, this is one of those, if you were to walk by it, you go, what game is this? The art on the map is really cool, but the best thing are the pieces. We're talking big, colorful pieces to represent all your dudes. Because, Tony, at its core, this is a dudes on the map area control game.
You got dudes on a map. You got other dudes on the map. You got a bunch of dudes on the map, and they're going to be fighting for some land. They're going to be fighting for some areas over there in England. They're going to try to get some victory points. But hey, it's not always peaceful over there. You got some Vikings coming in. They're going to come around and try to ravage, pillage, plunder. So you got to be careful of those guys. And you know what I like most about this game, Marty? This bad boy, she plays quick. No, not really. She has quick turns.
Quick turns. The play time says 90 to 180 minutes. That's going to be pretty spot on with 4 players. You're going to be playing 2 to 3 hours. But it takes place over the course of 3 years. Each year is broken up into 4 seasons. Each season is totally unique. And Tony, I did like this. Each season does something different. Like in the summertime, that's when the Vikings come and attack. And in the autumn, you can try to bribe the guys to get out of your area. The winter, you got to feed your people. So hopefully you collected some food. And in the spring, you get those very valuable Chronicles cards, which is a way, if you could complete in-game objectives, will give you some victory points. Because the goal is be the first to get to 8 victory points, instant victory, game over. Or, hey, at the end of a round, if somebody has 7 points, game over, instant victory. But if that hasn't happened, you're going to play through the entire game. Whoever has the most points wins. Typically, you're going to get points by controlling areas of the board that will provide victory points for whoever's in control of that area, which means that you are the only person there in that area. So, Tony, what makes this stand out uniquely to me is your action selection. The 4 actions you take, very simple. It's just that you only get to take 2 each round.
Everybody has a player board. Let's think about that, all right, for dudes on the map. These player boards, they have these very basic powers, which we're going to discuss, but each of these actions can be modified. You have that capability.
Tech tree.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. And now we all have the same tech. Because, we were sharing in England at this time. But one of those is that you get to do a collection phase. Pretty straightforward. You got a dude in an area, you're going to gain some money, and you are going to be able to reap the field so you can feed those people in the winter.
Yeah, and so you have to look at the board. You have to make sure that you're in control of areas that provide the food, and gold is needed. Then you got dudes on a map. Well, Marty, how do you get them around? Well, why don't you take the movement action? Basically, each type of dude has a certain rank, and depending on the rank is how many spaces that they can move. So you can move each one of your people. And if you happen to go into an area with an enemy, a battle will ensue. I will say, in these types of games, sometimes the battles can get very convoluted. Not so in this game. You're going to have cards leadership cards that you can play that you can use. Hey, I'm going to play this at the start of a battle thing that gives me a bonus or something like that. Every type of unit that's involved in a battle has a colored die that they're going to roll, and some are better than the others, but they all provide either swords that does damage, or shield to block damage. You roll, you add up your swords. If you happen to deal enough damage to a unit, they're gone. And you can also use the leadership cards in order to add to your strength. Every one of them, you can discard one to add one. If there's somebody still around, if both of you still around, you have these retreat rules, which are really straightforward. But then if you want to, you can go a second round, and that's it. You can only go 2 rounds. And if somebody's left standing there by themselves, if it's the attacker, they may take over that area, and now they're in control of that spot. If it's the defender, it's like, get out of my land. And the attacker has to leave if they survived through that second round. So, Tony, combat, pretty straightforward. We didn't have a lot of questions about that. And resolution, battle combat was done in under a minute. So that didn't take long.
Especially if you're rolling dice. That's so funny, y'all. You really need to play a game with Marty with dice. Rolling dice for battles. That is just so much fun. Poor guy.
So there's this neutral unit on the board that's just to the south of my kingdom that had a port. I really wanted that port because I can make a ship and ship guys around. Guys, 3 times I went and fought that little wimpy dude. And he was just blocking everything. I was like, what is going on? I wasted so much of my game trying to get that one spot. So finally, when we got to the autumn when I can bribe somebody, I said, just take a gold and leave. And I move them to an adjacent area.
See, this is what makes games fun sometimes. It doesn't matter who wins, really. It's as we've always said, it's the stories. But yeah, I mean, you're sitting there, it reminds me of Monty Python, you silly English kniggets with the French guy. Because if you're in a city, you get an additional die for defense, right? It makes sense. Thematically, it makes sense. All right, hey, I'm in a city, I got stone walls. You just can't, shoot arrows at me. I can duck. All right, so we've moved, we've done a little battling. Now, the other thing that we can do is we can do a Fjord, F-Y-R-D. I think I said that right. It's Old English meaning to arm mobilization of the population in times of danger. Thank you, Phalanx, for giving me some flavor text. I appreciate you. This allows you to recruit or upgrade your units. So you may have that low little peon guy sitting out there, and you know what? He's gone through some training, and for a little gold, you trained him up. He now becomes a Thane. So he's a little bit stronger. He gets a better die. He can move a little better because the puny guy just sits at home. He doesn't move anywhere unless you have a special tech tree that comes up. Or you may take a Thane and upgrade him to an alderman. Or you can buy a ship like Marty wanted to do. That's one of the things that you can do. You can upgrade these guys or recruit them as you need them, because part of this game is, and something you got to get through, don't think you're going to hang on to these people. You need to get out there and move. That's how you win these games. You're going to lose some, but you're going to also need to be recruiting some more, buying some more people. So that is the Fjord action.
Each faction has one little unique ability. For example, mine was when I collect food, I get an extra wherever I collect food, which was nice. But you also have, each of us have 3 rulers to choose from, which gives you a little special ability. And at the beginning of the game, you're going to pick one to use. That ruler may die at some point. It's fine. You bring in your second or third ruler. In fact, another way to trigger a game is if somebody loses all 3 of their rulers, that also triggers the end of the game. So player elimination also immediately stops the game. And then the final thing that you can do is, those little tech trees that we talked about. You can build a building out on the board like a mead hall or an abbey. Mead gives you allows you to get some leadership cards and makes it cheaper. The abbeys give you some extra gold. The ports allow you to do some trading. 2 gold for 1 food for 2 gold sort of deal. So those are just little tokens you put on the board that you can control, but you can also at that point upgrade one of your actions. You only have 2 spots per action to upgrade. You have 4 choices for each action. So you at the most, you can use 2 of those 4 to upgrade a particular action. So that's where you can kind of build your own little tech tree. Hey, when I take this particular action, I also get this bonus. Like Tony mentioned, the little peons on the board typically can't take any movement. There's an upgrade you can put under movement that says, okay, these guys can now move. So beginning of the round, you're going to flip over one of the season cards. Season will have some sort of text on it, something that will happen, maybe affect the entire round. And then, like I said, each season does something special. Everybody takes their actions, rinse, repeat until somebody wins the game. After we played, we're all like, you know what? This is a solid dudes on a map area control game, it doesn't do a lot different, except maybe the fact that you can only take 2 actions per round, and you can't take the same action twice, by the way. Like, I can't take 2 movements in one round. It must be one of something and one of something else.
I think that's one of the things we need to talk about because, like you said, there's 3 years, 4 seasons, and you know that you have to collect food and collect money to do the recruiting. So I felt like every year you will be doing collection twice.
At least.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least. So, when you talk about these games, some of the things you look at saying like, I know I got to do that twice, maybe a third time. And I think that's what sometimes is a negative for these games or for me, like you're forcing me to do these things. I understand why I got to do it. I need to understand why I need to collect money. But sometimes I'm like, couldn't there have been a better action than collection? Like, I don't know, just some easier way to make this more of an interactive game with people, of the movement, of the battling, because that's where the game is. That's where the fun was.
Well, it's pretty simple, Tony, because if you're sitting over there with the city with a ton of food, I can just move my butt right over there and fight you. And if I get control of your area, guess what? All that food is now mine.
But once again, I'm going to plan it so that if you're getting near me, I may say, you know what? I may lose some people here. Maybe I'll give it up. Maybe I'll give you a victory point. I don't know. I just felt like, okay, I've got to do this twice each round collection.
Well,
that's how
again, there's ways to get around it. You could instead just go heavily on the offensive and just take over other people's spots. That's already accumulated some food, maybe. And then once you control them, one collection will generate a ton of food, and maybe you don't need 2. For example, my ability, I didn't have to generate a ton of food because I got double. So that wasn't a big deal for me. I still need to generate gold. One thing you talked about being able to generate food, one of the interesting phases was during the summer, the Vikings are going to come out. And here's the thing is, we're going to bid to see who gets to decide where the Vikings come on board. I like this too. There's kind of a little catch-up mechanic here to where the people that are high on victory points won't get any extra things to what are called ally tokens in order to bid with. Everybody that's below them will get some additional ally tokens that can be used in concert with gold to bid who gets to draw cards and decide, I want the Vikings to land right there. And this game also has open negotiation. You can trade gold. You can trade food and say, hey, look, I know you won this bid. If I give you a gold, will you not send the Vikings over to my area sort of deal? Because when a Viking comes in, what happens is there's a pillage marker put at every adjacent spot where that Viking is, and those spots no longer generate food or gold.
I think for this game, if I were to teach someone dudes on a map game, I kind of like this for that, because it's so straightforward. Yeah, it's so basic. And I would say that 3 is a good number. 4, definitely, of course, that's what it can play up to. I would not stop it. I wouldn't do 2. No.
I think, again, with these types of maps, usually the max player count is the best. And I think that's the way for it. There are special rules for 2 and 3 player, but I do think max is this. So I think we all agreed, sitting at the table, yes, this is a standard dudes on a map style game. But Tony, as you said, if you don't have a lot of dudes on a map style games, this could be a good one because it is such a good entry into this style of game. Because it's very easy to follow. Oh, I can move. I can get some gold. I can build up some buildings. Or I can, recruit and get some more guys. Okay, that's it. That's kind of all I need to. Oh, and I just got to try to take over areas. It's that straightforward. So some people who are really into this may see this game going, there's not enough there for me. But if you didn't want something that you had to teach, take forever to set up and teach, this would be a good way to go. Now, let's talk about one big negative I have. The rulebook is not very good. When I first read through the rulebook, I thought, okay, I understand how everything works. But as I started digging into it, I started having questions. I went, because it doesn't explain in detail how victory points are tracked. There are these markers put on the board that says, all right, if you control this area, this marker indicates that you get to increase your victory point marker by 1. Okay, do I take that marker off the board over to my player board Do I leave it on the map because somebody else could take over? Nowhere in the printed rule book. Meanwhile, Mark goes, wait a minute. No, it says right here, leave the marker on the board because it can transfer and your victory points are going to go up and down in the course of the game. The PDF that was online is different than the one that was printed in the rule book, but the PDF online is version 0.05 from 3 years ago. So I was very confused by that. And then looking at some forums, there were a lot of people posting questions going, this doesn't make sense. There's some conflicting stuff here. So I will say there needs to be a new rule book or a FAQ put out clearly explaining some of this stuff so we don't get lost in the weeds, because I stressed over that forever. But if I just had the PDF version of the rule book, it'd have been clear.
I agree because we struggled with that, and that's a shame. You know, we've talked about this for 13 years about rule books, right?
Yep.
Like the game, it was fun. It was maybe a little too long. I think it could be a little too long because you got the crab in the pot situation where, you know, oh, he's getting there, everybody was pulling back type action. But for the fact that it's as easy to teach, it's a great introduction.
Yep, I agree. And the production value is really top notch. So that's Bretwalda from Phalanx Games.
5-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
So one of my first, and if you go back and check probably one of the very first blogs that was ever written on here, one of my favorite games is APBA Pro Baseball, developed in 1951. This game took the statistics of Major League ball players, and they would release an entire series, and you could play through that series by rolling 2 dice. They had these huge boards on them that allowed you to say, oh, I just got this number. Therefore, you could follow the board. I'm going against this graded pitcher, and that pitcher, oh my gosh, that was a strikeout. Or better yet, oh, I just rolled a 66, 12, 66. That's a home run. That was an easy. Oh, depending on where the players are on the board or on the field, there's a, you know, one runner on first and second. Hey, I need to use this big board. Loved that game growing up. I loved getting the new seasons and drafting with my friends in the neighborhood, and we would develop our own teams. Well, Marty and I have often told you about our baseball card enthusiasm and how we love that, just collecting those. But we recently got a hold of a game called Baseball Card GM from Garrett Weaver, self-published, where he is taking the use of baseball cards and he has developed a statistical board game where you use cards from the 1980s forwards, and as long as they have the various stats on them.
It could be why say in the 80s? It could be anywhere. As long as you have a baseball card with the appropriate stats. The stats on the back of the card are what you use during the game, because this game has the same feel of, all right, I've got a team. I'm going to roll some dice, look at the stats on this card. Depending on the results of the dice roll, it will pinpoint you to where, okay, you're going to look in the runs column and make a determination of whether you are out or maybe you get on base.
You're absolutely. I was just reading my man's blog here. It says, you know, but cards from the 80s to today, because they probably have all the stats I need here.
Fair, because saves didn't exist at a certain point in time and you need saves, etc. That's a good call. Yeah.
So, yeah, but to your point, also, you may be able at 1989 cards are dirt cheap because they sucked, and you can find those very easy. So, you know, for Marty and I, when we tried this out, it was fun. We had a blast with it. I enjoyed it. We drafted. We got some packs. We were able to open those packs. We drafted players and developed our own little teams. And based on their various stats, determined the outcome and the ratio. Overall, I mean, it's very fast playing. This is kind of one of those games where, you know, with the family, I'd, you know, play this with, you know, teaching young kids, teach them to appreciate baseball cards, appreciate them for more than, oh my gosh, you can get them rated and sold on eBay and flip them around. Yeah, and I don't need to do all this crap. Hey, here's something to teach you about baseball. Does not have the level of strategy APBA has, but it is a very interesting game.
And it's one of those things too. It's like there's a threshold when you roll the die. You're always checking it against a threshold. If I roll, say, a 1 and a 1, it's like, okay, maybe look at the home runs of the particular card. And you're going to look and see, okay, did they exceed this amount of home runs in this year, or was it less than? And that will just tell you how well you do. But Tony, there's like an advanced rule where you can look at the pitcher that you're going against. You're looking at matchups, lefty versus righty, left versus left, etc. And depending on the matchup will change your odds or change the target number that you're going for to see what the result of that roll is going to be. I like that too, because you can make a whole team with relievers. And when I see, this lefty's coming up, so I'm going to bring in a righty over here to face him because I have better odds against that. So you can actually play the game, and you're supposed to play through 9 innings. It's a big neoprene mat that you're playing on, and you actually put the cards on the bases and move them around the bases. There's options to steal, depending on how well their steal is. They can roll dice, and the higher the number of steals they had the previous season, the better odds you have of being able to successfully steal. There's the idea of fielder's choice. You can do things like sacrifice and try to move people around. It's all built in this game, but it's so simple as just taking 2 dice and comparing it to a number.
Probably the hardest thing to do would be finding baseball cards. But if you're like, just put it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm sure there's somebody out there selling a box of Topps 1991.
And I had the best fun opening cards and doing the draft. That was a blast. And what's cool is I can go, okay, the 1990 Reds were the World Series champions. So what I'm going to do is go to year 1991, get all the cards of the Reds, because it will reflect the 1990 stats, and then build a team around that. So you can make these very thematic teams if you want to. You could play a full series with your friends. You could play a full season. I told Tony, I said, if we would have had this in college, when we were collecting cards and opening packs and then just putting them into boxes and stuff, if we could have actually played a game with it, it would have been really bad for us. We wouldn't have been going to class.
We would have never graduated. Let's just face facts. It'd be sad. But yeah, I like how, and I keep going back to APBA because that's what I know. We had some questions about the stats, but they were very gracious. They came back to us with the reasons why they set it up the way they did, because I could not get past that. I'm like, if I roll box cards or if I roll snake eyes, I should automatically, because it's so low, a 1 and a 1 should give me something really beneficial. But when you think about bell curves, yes, a 2 on the bell curve is far out. I agree. All right. But a 1 on a dice is a 1 in 6 chance, right? Yeah. So they've taken all this. They've had statisticians look into this to analyze to are these results matching up to with the actual stats that you see on the card. And I really do appreciate that they went into that depth and just didn't throw a bunch of random numbers out there, which is what I would do. And it was so easy. The game was laid out very well. The math's laid out brilliantly with the numbers of the dice and having to find that stuff. That was so cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm definitely keeping this thing around. I think this is a blast just to open up packs, draft some cards, build some teams, and it's very easy to play. Finally, y'all, I have a game, and I've always said this, if there was just a game we had with baseball cards like we have with TCGs, that'd be it.
Well, the 1976 Topps baseball cards actually had a game on the back of them where you would flip them over, and it would tell you what would be the result. And I know we mentioned this, but I do want to, once again, the straight out how to resolve. If it's a ground out, it's going to walk you through how the players move if they're on base. I'm not having to flip through a whole bunch of big cards. I'm not having to analyze that. I don't have a bunt book to look at. It's pretty straightforward. Fast game, very enjoyable. That is Baseball Card GM from publisher Weaver Media Group, designed by Garrett Weaver.
5-minute initiative is complete.
All right, Tony, did you see the news? Guild Wars Reforged. Did you see it?
Of course I did. You sent it to me. So yeah, I saw it. I only block your text every once in a while. But yeah, I saw it. So we got Guild Wars started many, many, many years ago. They're going to update some graphics, I guess. Ago. And how many?
20 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
2005, baby.
Whoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This was so out of the blue. So some former programmers that worked on Guild Wars 1 have started their own little team, and through support of the ArenaNet said, here's Guild Wars 1 code. You guys know how this works. Do what you want with it. And they said, well, great. We're going to start upgrading this to run on more modern machines, on more modern monitors to look better. We'd like to possibly do some UI upgrades, some quality of life improvements like quest markers and stuff like that. And we kind of want people to try this again. Can we make it like dirt cheap? How about like $20? And basically you just get everything and you just play all you want. This is so brilliant. Comes out December 3rd, just kind of dropped out of nowhere. And if you already have Guild Wars 1, you get all the upgrades for free. I 100% will be either playing Prophecies or I will play Nightfall. I will roll a new character and will gladly play that through again with new graphics and support and even controller support. So now I can just sit here back with my controller and just play all I want.
I'd be interested to see how controller support will work, especially if they bring in the henchmen. You know, that was all part of, that's what made, to me, Guild Wars brilliant, was the ability to have henchmen.
The game hasn't changed at all. It's just the look and feel and the user interface. Everything else stays 100% the same.
But I have to, even though I have an account already, will my players or my various individuals move forward, or do I get to have to start all over?
Nope. Just nothing. Just take it forward. However, I'm probably going to, number one, I want to support them. I like what they do, so I want to give them some money. I'm probably going to buy a Steam account of the game for $20 because in the future, let's say down the road, a new Steam Deck comes out that I might want to get. I can play on the Steam Deck. Or this new thing that came out, I mentioned, the Steam Machine, which connect to your TV, and I can sit on the couch and play my Steam games. And if I could play Guild Wars sitting on my couch, that'd be really interesting to do. So I'm probably going to give them $20 just as a support because I watched a full stream with them. The interviewer said, is this it? Are y'all done? And they said, we'll never say we're done. We want to see what the reception is. And if people like what they did, we have ideas of adding new content in this game.
I will say with the recent release of the expansion to Guild Wars 2, so many people have come back into that game. It is unreal. I was very surprised. So it'll be interesting. I mean, even when they revisited Guild Wars 1 recently and all the Twitchers went out there and were streaming from it, you know, Prophecies, you had everybody out there waiting for the big, spoiler alert, the big Char invasion.
Sure.
You know, they were talking about, you know, how many people were there and what you could go out and do the various missions. And, Eye of the North. See, I liked them all. I never completed Factions or Eye of the North. I know, Nightfall. I never completed those stories, and I need to.
I never completed Factions. I did complete Nightfall and Eye of the North. Nightfall is really, really, really good. Even the developers on the show said, we feel that Nightfall was like, we understand how to make a narrative story in this game. And the story is really good. And what nice thing is, you could just start at Nightfall. You can create a character at Nightfall and play. That's what was it. They weren't expansions. They were standalone games. And they said, somebody asked about, what about the Eye of the North? They said, Eye of the North is not available because it's going to be DLC. And they said, DLC, like you may do more DLC? And they went,
maybe. We got 300 years that we've got to get up to Guild Wars 2.
So,
you know,
I will 100% be revisiting this world. Will it keep my attention? I don't know, but it may, because Guild Wars 2 is almost getting too much for me. I know that you play every day and you understand this game inside and out, but it's almost getting too much for me to where I think I might want something a little more simple. I understood Guild Wars 1 pretty well, especially in play and character development and mixing two classes and stuff.
We were kidding on the guild I'm in on Guild Wars 2. I wonder how much a black die is going for now. God, I remember when that was, you know, a huge thing, the trading. If they could implement some of the Guild Wars 2 marketplace, that'd be incredible. I will play it just from the standpoint of revisiting nostalgia. Every time I update Guild Wars on my PC now, I just sit there and listen to the music. It's just so good.
Yeah. It's going to be a very nostalgic. Which guild were you talking with? Is it the Old Timers Guild or somebody else?
It's somebody else. Avalon's Wraith, which has been around since Guild Wars 1 for 20 years. And they have there's like 400 plus in the guild. And it's just like this, hey, can somebody help me with this? Boom, here come all these people, you know? Yeah, give me a second. Let me get out of this factions. Let me get out of this strike mission. I'm like, okay. That's one, there's a lot to, you're right. I don't know Guild Wars 2 like you think. Because I haven't done the strike missions. I haven't done any of that. I don't have a lot of time. So, 10 minutes here and there, that's always fun. So, yeah. I'm excited for Guild Wars 1, especially if it helps me complete my monuments and I can get special stuff. It's always about the stuff.
Oh, yeah. And they said that also they're fixing the issue where people, if they had the Steam game, they couldn't get the Hall of Monument stuff. They said that will be fixed. So it doesn't matter what account you play on, you will always get the Hall of Monument stuff in Guild Wars 2. So that's why I'm going to throw them $20. Maybe I'll play on Steam, maybe I won't, but I'll probably at least try it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to December 3rd. Let me tell you about my other obsession, Ball X Pit. So this is up for Indie Game of the Year. When it was first announced, I thought, this looks kind of cool. This kind of looks like Vampire Survivors and Breakout in a bullet storm type game with Stardew Valley. That's exactly what it is.
What?
Yeah, it is. It is so much fun. Again, it looks like Breakout, except the things that are coming down are like monsters and they're moving down towards you, and you shoot these balls towards them to deal enough damage to break them. So you're trying to take all of them out, but they just keep coming. And every once in a while, when you level up, it'll give you an option to get a weapon. And so if I equip that weapon, then hey, I've got this new weapon that freezes people. Awesome. Hey, you can upgrade your weapon from level 1 to level 2. Awesome. And you try to get through 3 bosses, and if you do, you've completed the run. If not, then you die. You go back to the top part of the pit. That's because you actually go down in a pit. That's why it's called Ball X Pit. And you've got stuff like stone and wheat that you've collected and blueprints that you found to build houses to unlock new characters, or build houses to give permanent stat bonuses to all your characters. Last night I said, I'm 12S, I'm just going to do a couple runs. I sat there for an hour and a half playing this game. I just couldn't stop. It's like, I just got to do one more run. Just one more run. Oh, I just need 5 more wheat. If I get 5 more wheat, I can finish building this building over here and get the stat bonus. Gosh. And for only $14, I've more than got my money's worth out of it.
I'll look. I won't buy, but I'll look at it and see what the heck you're talking about. So I'm glad you're enjoying something.
Ball X Pit. It is. It's on everything. I play it on the Switch, but it's on everything.
Everything. Okay. Good to know. Someday I'll cut my PlayStation back on. We'll see. We'll see about that. All right. But with that, I've got nothing else. How about you?
I'm good.
All right. Well, then let's just keep rolling dice.
And taking names. Hey y'all, thanks for listening. Follow us on our socials at Dice and Names. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch or actually listen to all of our episodes there. And if you want to support the show, you can do so by heading over to buymeamoonpie.com.
Note for taste buds. Don't ever buy a vanilla tasting soda again. Just saying. Don't do it.
Okay.
You can buy it for yourself. It doesn't always have to be about me.
Oh, it's always about you.
Damn straight it is.
Hey there, I'm Hugh from Poderation. If you liked today's episode, why not check out Tartan Tabletop, a D&D show as Scottish as it sounds. I won't terrify you with my attempt at a Scottish accent, but I can assure you that Tartan Tabletop is some of the funniest tabletop content you will hear all year. Find it wherever you get your podcast.